So I have a secret in my fridge. Don't tell the Korean government that I brought cacao back from Vietnam. Oops. I'll never forget my first taste of fresh cacao, or my first taste of all the other things made from it. The proliferation of innovation within the cacao and chocolate industry is astounding and inspiring. The long list of fresh cacao products now includes a cacao juice that I've heard great things about and which has distribution around the world. But the next step in cacao products is undoubtedly cacao liquor. Cacao liquor, or wine, is a more shelf-stable product made from cacao juice, and it's produced around the world. I have a list of brands and countries in an article on my site. You can find a link in the description. Basically, as soon as the cacao fruit is cut off the tree, its juice begins fermenting and the seeds germinating. Some of this juice is needed to fully ferment the beans, but the rest has historically been siphoned off and drank fresh, while the rest has been allowed to ferment by itself for several days until it becomes a sweet liquor. This is what we're tasting today. So here I have 3 different versions of the cacao fruit, which chocolate is made from, but just like how avocado has the pit and the actual fruit, and people eat the fruit, the chocolate is actually made from the seeds inside, just like you make avocado seed oil from avocado pits. And this is the most fermented of the bunch. This is not the correct container because this comes from my friend's farm in Pon Mi Tot, Vietnam, and this is cacao liquor. And here, also from Vietnam, we have cocoa wine, and also from Vietnam, we have a cacao pod, or a cacao fruit. This has been in my fridge for a week, so we will not be tasting it today, but I have actually already had fresh cacao fruit, which looks a little bit like this inside. This is actually quite fermented, but normally there's a lot more pulp, and you can see the white sort of pit where the seeds sit, and the seeds are covered in the mucilage, or the pulp, and once the seeds are all taken out of the fruit and they're put into a box and they're fermented, you get a lot of runoff, or cacao juice, from the pulp, and that's what we're going to be tasting today. So just to be perfectly transparent, this pod, which has been semi-fermenting since it was harvested about a week ago from the farm, it has several different types of beans inside. Some of them are mushy and sort of crackly if you squeeze them. The seed is just a goner. It would have been tossed out after drying, and most of them have been fermented and germinated, just like this one. And you can tell that it's fermented a bit because the inside is sort of a brown color. It's not the bright purple you'd normally associate with fresh cacao, and some of them are gnarly like this one. Even after just a week, it's already like ready to go into the ground. To continue our exploration of cacao and its pulp products, let's try the cocoa wine. So it looks a lot like a bottle of regular wine that you might get at the supermarket, carefully packaged. It was 230,000 won, so around 10 bucks US dollars, and it looks like wine. It looks like a bottle of wine. It's recommended that it's kept in the fridge and served chilled, and it is carefully controlled at 12.5% alcohol. Let's break the seal. It's fizzy. It smells really sweet. Oh, but it's got that burn of alcohol underneath. It's 12.5% alcohol is around what you would expect for a wine, but it doesn't smell particularly fruity. It's a little fruity, but it's more chocolatey, which is not what you would expect from a pulp product. The pulp really tastes sort of like Sour Patch Kids if they had a floral undertone. It's very sweet and sour and acidic. And this has some chocolate flavor added to it. It's actually pretty good. I would drink this. I would actually very happily drink this over ice or served chilled like this. It's got a very light cocoa flavor underneath, and it's very sweet and fruity, and it reminds me of Tootsie Rolls. Oh. Yeah. This is like if Tootsie Rolls had a liquor brand, it would be cocoa wine. Yeah. Now that I've carefully swished my mouth out with water, I'm going to open the cacao liquor, and this was very carefully packaged straight from the farm by one of my good friends over at Asan Chocolate. So thank you so much to Ling for putting this together for me. Oh, that smells so good. That also smells a little cocoa-y, but maybe it's just my imagination. But this smells very fruity as well. But it smells sort of more smoothly fruity. This does not have an alcohol percentage, so it is a liquor in that it's a fermented fruit, but it's not like a 40% vodka. It's never going to get up to that percentage. But it is going to be like a fruit liquor. So this actually smells quite similar to the wine, but with a much sweeter undertone and no smell of alcohol whatsoever, and just a much lighter note of cocoa. Oh, that's a really strong flavor. It's very, very sweet, and it doesn't have many of the floral notes that cocoa has, but it's got a little bit of the floral notes. It's like syrupy sweet, like honey. It's definitely been sucking up all of the sugars from the fruit itself. That's really good. I would also drink this over ice, or maybe with a mixer. My friend likes to put it over ice with a little bit of lime or lemon if you don't have lime. Cocoa products, they're all good. New tagline. Since you made it to the end, please subscribe for more monthly videos on cacao and chocolate all around the world.